gentlemen, hello and welcome to our English news edition coming to you from Canal, Algérie. I'm your host, Maysa Doumaz. To the headlines. 0 case since the outbreak of the coronavirus pandemic in Algeria, a major breakthrough achieved thanks to the state's efficient strategy in the health sector. Pursuant to the President's guidelines, the National Publication Office is endowed with a new printing machine, a real boost to the national education. And the fans of the Algerian famous singer Lounis Ait Menguellat lived to the rhythm of his hits at the Atlas Hall. Those were today's headlines. First in our news, for the first time since the outbreak of the coronavirus pandemic, no case was recorded on Sunday in our country, thanks to the state's efforts and efficient health strategy. More details with Leticia Sadqawi.
0 cases for the first time since the outbreak of the pandemic a little over 2 years ago. Algeria managed to overcome COVID-19 after a long fight and considerable human losses. However, the determination and the experience of the healthcare staff, which was in fact a bulwark against the virus during many waves of the pandemic, all which were hard and distressful on Algerians. This comes thanks to the wise strategy adopted by the authorities, which proved its efficiency. Algeria was one of the first countries to get the vaccine from many countries, namely Russia and China. And thanks to its strong willpower, Algeria began producing vaccines locally, which played an important role in breaking the contamination chain. To reach herd immunity and reducing significantly the cases in many regions of the country, Algeria's fight against the virus and its major victory made of Algeria an example to follow on the continental and international levels.
The National Office for School Publications acquired a new printing machine with a capacity of 500,000 books per day, a real boost to the national education. More details with Manal Ammari.
For pedagogical education that meets scientific conditions, the National Office for School Publications is now reinforced by a new printing machine that prints up to 35,000 pages per hour and 500,000 copies per day, with the help of modern and high-speed technologies.
We hope that with this machine, the production quality and output will improve once it's operational. We are in this office today for field viewing and for the immediate embodiment of the President's decisions, during which he showed his appreciation towards what the National Office of School Publications is doing concerning Braille books.
Thanks to this new printing machine, blind students will benefit from new books.
The importance that Algerians give to this issue under the President's leadership, who demanded that the government takes all the necessary measures so this institution's specialty reaches an international level. The President gave additional instructions to make these products available for free to this category.
Developing the National Office for School Publications is one of the priorities of the government's work program, since it is a pivotal tool for promoting printing and publishing school books in Braille.
In the context of fighting terrorism and organized crimes, units and detachments of the National People's Army carried out an operation in Jebel Louh in the commune of Tariq bin Ziyan, belonging to the 1st Military Region of Ain Difla province. Units of the National People's Army eliminated a terrorist and recovered 1 Kalashnikov type submachine gun and ammunition. The ongoing operation confirms the vigilance and the permanent availability of our armed forces throughout the national territory. No less than 55 projects in Mascara benefited from the lifting of hindrances. One of the beneficiaries in this plastic packaging manufacturing plant with about 230 local employees, Manal Ammari reports.
Specialized in the creation, designing and manufacturing of food packaging, this production unit, located in the Mascara Industrial Zone, is a true success story. In addition to its quality products, this plant has become a source of employment. I graduated from the University of Mascara and was hired in 2015, which allowed me to get good work experience. The factory has about 230 employees, the majority of which are the region's youth. This factory benefited from facilitation measures, namely an export permit towards various African countries. Thanks to its product's quality, this plant lured highly important clients. We faced some difficulties concerning exports, but we have received a temporary export permit for our products. Around 55 investment projects benefited from the removal of obstacles on projects that were put on hold, which allowed the creation of 3,074 employment opportunities. The lifting of administrative hindrances on various projects in the province boosted commercial activity throughout the region.
Let's move to the agriculture sector. Positive results were achieved by farmers of the south of Tbissa province in cereals and Kulza oil production. Leticia Sadqawi tells us about this success story.
The desert of Marmouthia, south of Tbissa, has become an elementary and agricultural area with excellence. The space planted in this desert reaches half of the area planted in Tbissa, more than 15,000 hectares, representing a tenth of what can be exploited. As part of this reform program, and by placing investors on an area of 26,000 hectares, we will create agricultural poles at the province level, especially in cereals production. In this paradise on the sand of Marmouthia, the cereals production is almost at 50 tons in 1 hectare, with around the same rate as colza oil. I have 70 hectares. I use 30 of it for cereals, wheat and 10 for barley. In the upcoming June, I want to have 10 hectares of corn. The dream here in Tbissa is only growing, a story of hard work and great determination in planting cereals in the south of Tbissa, with the goal to cover local demand for different cereals.
The consumption of meat increases during Ramadan. The slaughterhouses are in full swing. This is the case in the municipality of Azazga in Tizi Ouzou province, a region known for the quality of its production. More details with Rania Al-Bahri.
The red meat slaughterhouses in the municipality of Azazga in Tizi Ouzou province are in full swing to ensure a regular supply of red meat to the national market. Nearly 100 cattle are slaughtered daily before being stored in cold rooms and then marketed in several provinces of the country. Veterinarians have a big role to play in the preservation of livestock by fighting against clandestine slaughter. The control that we carry out at the level of this slaughterhouse consists of supporting veterinarians in the fight against anarchic activities in order to preserve the health of the consumer. For its part, the poultry slaughterhouses in Tizi Ouzou province ensure the supply of the national market with white meat. We do 4,000 to 5,000 chicken slaughter per day, in addition to 100 turkeys. This slaughterhouse has been rehabilitated over time. We supply the national market with 450,000 quintals of red meat and around 560,000 quintals of white meat. The slaughtering activity in Tizi Ouzou province has encouraged many investors to move into the meat processing industry.
The National Center for Studies and Research hosted on Sunday a historical symposium in commemoration of the 66th anniversary of the martyr Swidani Boujama, in the presence of the Minister of Mujahideen or War Veterans Laïd Al-Biqa and a number of historical figures and historians. Let's discover more about this outstanding martyr who was one of the masterminds of the Algerian Revolution. More details with Rania Al-Bahri.
Figurehead of the anti-colonial revolution, Swidani Boujama, nicknamed Sijilali, was part of the historical group of 22 who decided the date of the outbreak of the Liberation War. He was the unique son of a modest family of Galma province. Swidani Boujama joined the National Liberation Front in 1942, then the Special Organization in 1947. He was responsible for the instruction and military training of militants. In 1949, he participated with a group of militants in the famous post office attack in Oran province, designated operation meant to raise funds of the outbreak of the armed struggle. Swidani Boujama'a left Boudouou and moved to Metija region. Swidani Boujama'a realized that military action was the ultimate alternative. He was convinced that it was the sole way to recover freedom and dignity of the Algerian people. Swidani Boujama'a settled in Helwiya in Blida province in 1951, launched several armed operations at Metija region. On April 16, 1956, he fell in the field of honor during a clash in Maqta Khira near Qli'a. Swidani Boujama'a and his fervent defenders of the national cause are part of history of free and independent Algeria.
Palestinians commemorated the 48th anniversary of the Prisoners' Day in a context marked by the arrests and attacks carried out by the Zionist occupation forces. On the ground, the situation remains, however, explosive in the occupied Al-Quds, as dozens of Palestinians were injured on Sunday in the clashes in Al-Quds Mosque compound. In Morocco, components of normalization are stepping up their actions. To this effect, they called for a strong mobilization across the country to reiterate their rejection of normalization with the Zionist entity and to voice their condemnation of the ongoing exactions against Palestinians following Al-Aqsa raids. And we wrap up our news edition with celestial tunes and songs performed by the famous Algerian singer Lounis 8 Minguellat, who allowed his lovers and fans to live unforgettable moments last night at the Atlas Hall here in Algiers. Let's enjoy together. That is it for our news edition. Thanks for tuning in to our program. صحة سحوركم.